WEEK, your home team. This is 25 News at 10.
As cases rise, all eyes are on the fall. Good Tuesday evening, I'm Kaitlin Pearson. Now, as you can see of this video of Peoria behind us, it's already looking dark and stormy out there. Fall is finally here, and you know what that means? The zombies are coming out in full force. That stunning admission from a member of the White House coronavirus response team, as COVID-19 is now the #3 cause of death in the country. We take you to breaking news now, just into our newsroom. First responders are on the scene of a business fire in Morton, an outbreak of COVID-19 at the Peoria County Jail. Now hundreds of inmates have been tested. Yeah, Alex Mickey takes us into the wild and shows us what you can expect at your next visit. Capitol Bureau Chief Mike Milicic is live in Springfield to break down the boost workers can expect later this week. Mike? 13 of those victims are from the early hours this morning after almost 100 shots were fired as a crowd gathered along Peoria's riverfront. For the first time since World War II, the Illinois State Fair won't be happening. Well, Bremer Jewelry has a passion for fashion and helping others. A grisly discovery near Bass Pro Shops. A body was found in the Illinois River. Jamie Harwood is desperate to help save his friend's life one more time. 25 News' Paige Blanzy spent time with both of them this weekend and has their hopes for recovery. Wiffle ball is harder than people think. I feel like people don't appreciate how difficult it can be.
Exactly.
While topping the newscast this half hour, Canton police are continuing their search this afternoon for a local woman who's been missing since Sunday night. Some restaurants still want to move customers indoors before Phase 4 begins. Alex Mickey is in the middle of it all. Alex, what are they saying? Well, closer to home, local kids are showing they're happy and they know it about staying healthy and safe during the pandemic. Say it ain't snow. Joe will detail the incoming storm. How much can we expect? You cannot make that up. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Trial of the century there.
The saying has always been the show must go on. But with COVID-19, what is the reality for fine arts in schools this year? When in-person instruction came to a screeching halt this past spring, Washington High School's vocal music teacher, Laura Ream, says it forced them to think in a different key.
The pivot was to switch to lessons about music theory, about music history, about current musicians, about composers, and so we could gather in that sort of information that we didn't always have time to do.
Director of vocal music at Pekin High School, Lee Grizzard, says with virtual learning, every home becomes a concert hall.
We still worked on performance skills and vocalizing. Students recorded themselves and sent them in to me, and I evaluated them and gave them feedback.
With many area schools following hybrid back-to-school plans, Richwood's principal, Carly Emkin, says the arts are still a priority.
As adults, we are struggling with everything that's going on. And so students who are growing and developing right now, they have even more difficult things to face. And the arts is just a platform that they can express themselves.
The #1 concern for teachers, how the return to the music room can be done safely. And they do have something to play off of. Preliminary research from the University of Maryland recorded the bursts as the number of particles were released into the air as students were singing and playing an instrument with no protections.
Because of the nature of what they're doing, that aerosol tends to stay in the air longer. It's a more prolonged exhalation.
But the study also found that with coverings and other mitigation techniques, like a bag over the instrument or a mask, the number of particles in the air decreased drastically, meaning less potential exposure. Dunlap's curriculum director, Megan Bagby, says precautions are also being taken for the visual and physical arts.
We're trying to avoid shared materials as much as possible, so that means additional safety equipment or materials need to be purchased so that students can engage in those procedures. Or we have the sanitation procedures if it is a shared object that we can't just get a ton of.
So when could we see audience members in these seats once again? Well, like many things with COVID-19, they don't quite have an answer, but there are some options.
How can we have mini performances to show everything that the students have learned, their expertise, and share that with the student body, share it with their families?
That's so important for mental health for so many people, especially musicians who, when we found out that we couldn't sing together, it's kind of taking part of, a lot of our identity away.
But at the end of the day, when the
the bell tolls, they all agree. Mask wearing is going to be a part of the foreseeable future.
I would take them outside and I would socially distance them at least 10 feet apart and pay attention to where the wind is coming from.
And they're composing backup plans.
Maybe they sing at home on their virtual day and send the recording to me, and maybe we have like a Zoom voice lesson, and then when they're with me, we work more on those foundational musical concepts.
Now, many of these plans are fluid, subject to change depending on different things that can happen. But the #1 goal, to hear the music once again. Reporting for 25 News, I'm Kaitlin Pearson.